company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Talk in Town Extra Time Monday night show. I am your host, the Gov, and if you're anything like me, friends, you're a little bit flat still after the weekend, after a game where the expectancy was high, the anticipation was high, the excitement was high, and the result was flat, cold, and anything but exciting. And the season, even the most positive of fans surely must agree that it almost is certainly over now. So I'm flat tonight and looking forward to breaking it down, discussing football. I've got the wheel. I have found the wheel in the back of the Talk in Town cupboard. We have dusted it off and we've got some topics on it tonight. So we're going to try and bring a little bit of fun tonight just to shake off the flatness of the weekend. Lee Brown, welcome in. Gino, welcome in. Simon and Nikki, welcome in. Andy, bringing the facts nice and early. 22 points dropped against Accrington, Morecambe, Cheltenham, Burton and Cambridge. Wigan only dropped 4 points against these teams so far. And that is probably how the season preview DVD should start, or the blurb on the back of the DVD programme should read, because that in itself paints the terrible picture of why we will forever be ninth. Gino, as well as he's also feeling quite flat. Stephen, welcome in. I hope you're well. And a pleasure to share a beer with you post-game. Shame it wasn't a celebratory one. And is one of our TT members, and you can become one too, either via YouTube or through Ko-Fi. The wonderful people on the screen are our Talk in Town fifth standers that have done so through YouTube and through Ko-Fi. The link is in the chat. If you can, please do. I know, the cost of everything's going up and up and up, but if you can support us, then please do. And maybe we can get a better will. Who knows? But a huge thank you to every single person on the screen. I wanted to bring something to you tonight, just to let you know. I'm big on mental health, having suffered with poor mental health throughout my life, really, but certainly as a young adult and an adult. But there's a new talk club session beginning at Portman Road. The first one was last week. That was held virtually because and there is one tomorrow at 7:30, I believe. The information is on your screen now. Ignore that date. This was sent to me last week, and I'm going to be honest, I forgot to mention it. I am a human being, it turns out. But honestly, tomorrow, get involved if this is your bag, your thing. I certainly would be looking to take part, I think, at some points, because I truly do think we as men need to just, share our feelings a little bit more. I will be honest with you there and say that. So Portman Road tomorrow, 7:30. If you fancy going back to Portman Road after the weekend, and the Talk To Club, a really good club that's starting up. The chap that runs it is Joe Thompson, and you'll be in great hands. Right, Coxie's here, Jeremy's here. Not over till it's mathematically over, says Jeremy. I'm not quite sure what to make of that, Jeremy. It's not mathematically over until it's over. It's not over till it's over, Tom.
Yeah, it's over.
Brilliant. Welcome in, Big Fish. I won't say the joke I said when you first appeared on the bottom of my screen, but it's good to be with you. It's good to see you. In all honesty, I know you say it's over, joking, but, Jeremy won't be the only fan that feels this way. Not over till it's mathematically over. What would you say to a Jeremy?
Just keep being positive. I'm never going to put anyone down for having optimism and sticking it out to the end until it's mathematically not over. But I think you just need, in my opinion, to look at the form. It's been said time and time again, we can't string 3 wins together. So how are we going to win 5 in a row, which is what we need to have a sniff. And I even think 79 points at that rate still won't be enough. We're having a bit of a freakish season as well in League One at the minute as well. So I think bad timing on that side. We're a bit unfortunate, but also we've made our own bad luck at the start of the season. So too much to make up. Absolutely keep supporting the team, and we've got a lot to look forward to next season. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom.
Okay. As always on a Monday, I will show you the league table. However much I do not want to, I will. It will be no surprise to anybody watching that we are, of course, in 9th position, played 41, 1 game more than 6th, 64 points. Sunderland on 40 with 70. So it is going to take a gargantuan effort. That's a big word for me. It's going to take a Herculean effort. But Jeremy, I guess you're not overly wrong. It's not over till it's over. Even Mark Tuxford, sorry, it's not over till the fat lady sings. Neil said it's over. Simon and Nikki say it's over. Heidi, our YouTube member, says it's over. She also adds, when you have to depend on other teams slipping up and our inconsistent form, then it definitely is over. Mark Tuxford, yes, I echo those. JuneBrown.com, sadly taken from us today. Rest in peace, June Brown, says Mark Tuxford. Mike D, a fat lady's been singing for a while. Looking forward to next season. Talking of next season, one of our players on loan at Salford scored a goal this weekend. Tom, you'll be excited to know. I've got the video here, courtesy of Twitter. I'm going to show it, and then you're going to tell me what you make of this goal. It is, of course, Corey Ndaba scoring his first goal for Salford. Here it is. Hopefully you can see it. And away we go. So, here we go. This is a centre-half. Don't forget, folks. Boom! Have a bit of that.
We need some of that now, don't we?
That's a centre-half scoring that goal. Corey Ndaba. What do you think of that?
Yeah, good to see. Good to see. Yeah, hopefully his style of play might suit McKenna, so we might have a good backup next season. Hopefully he likes to get forward a bit, because that's what, Danassian at least just does that. Wolfenden likes a little more maraud sometimes. So, yeah, good signs. Don't know how he's been playing generally, but yeah, good hit.
No, I have to be honest, I don't either. But it's a great goal from a centre-half outside the area. Maybe he could teach our players a thing or two once he returns. But I'll let you think on that one while I bring in our resident royalty. It is, of course, all be upstanding for His Royal Highness, King Cali B.
Man, I'm gully and techie. You want me?
King Cali B, how you doing?
How we doing, lads? We all right?
Very well. Corey Ndaba, look, outside the 18. Touch, turn.
It's actually, well, you said it was his first goal for Salford. It's actually his first senior goal.
See, I thought that as I was speaking. Yeah. I thought, I don't want to say that in case I'm wrong, but his first, there's not better first senior goals than that, is there?
No, I think, we've always talked about Wolfie being that ball-playing defender, and as we've seen, it suits the McKenna formation and what we've done. He's certainly one of the players that's shone under McKenna so far. I think you've got Corey there. You could be the same thing maybe at the left centre-back. So, Fridge, Burgess, if one of them was to go...
I've been saying this for a while.
I honestly think... we'll get into it in a bit, but I think, we are more or less going to be, it's 90% guaranteed we're here next season in League One, right?
Is it over, Cali? Point blank, is it over?
It's not over till it's mathematically not possible, do you know what I mean? So, until I ain't heard Delia sing, so until Delia sings, right?
Oh, Christ, don't start that conversation.
But no, I felt deflated on Saturday.
I still feel flat.
It was shit show. I mean, it was just Cambridge, man. They wanted it so bad. It was their cup final, man. They were bigging it up as it was some sort of derby, which it weren't. Right? It's not a derby with them. Do you know what that reminded me of? Actually, when they're talking about all this derby shit, they're like, "Oh, it's a derby. It's a derby." It's like how Bolton used to turn around to Man United and say that was a derby. And it was like, yes, you're close in locality and proximity and all that, but no, we're not derbies at all. So nah. But I still hold out. I still hold out hope. Just based on the fact I never thought I'd be in a position where Marcus Evans had sold the club and the club goes in a better position.
It's true.
Life after Evans. I didn't think the club would be in a better position once Evans had gone. Right, because I thought he would just fucking take us down to League Two, non-league, whoever knows, right? What he was, where he was going.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. We've said it before, like I said, Leicester won the Premier League 500 to 1 or 5,000 to 1 or whatever after they beat relegation.
Yeah, but they didn't come from 5th, 6 points out to come and do it, did they? They were leading majority of the one. It was can they stay there? We're talking about we need a serious seismic.
We do. Listen. It's good. If we make playoffs, we're going up. It's as simple as that. Because all the gods are on our side then, right? But I've got to have a bit of faith, a bit of hope, right? We will. But do you know what it is? I know we're all a bit down because the result and all the rest of it, but let's reflect on this season. Like it's been up and down, but what a good season it's been. I think it's been a great season. I know we haven't finished where we wanted to be. Right, and it was never going to be as easy as we thought it would. Especially when you got so many people coming in and leaving the course. I don't know where we're in that.
You're okay.
That ain't me. There's no one in the room, so it ain't me. There's no poltergeist or something. I don't know. Someone's hoovering somewhere. But nah, it was never going to be as easy as we thought it would. But the fact is, we're towards the end of the season. And we're still not mathematically out of the equation, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I take it. I'll get some comments. Sorry, Tom. I think you're hoovering.
I'm unmuted. My laptop's wearing up at the minute, so I don't know if it's.
That'll be it. It'll be a laptop fan. While that goes on, I'll get some comments. We've got Stephen Parry. We had too much pressure to perform. McKenna to win every game near enough because we were so much behind. It was hard for any team to change and so much to still be consistent. Safe to go 20. Still got to keep positive going sometimes. However much we want to go to. Sadly, good evening, Irv. Welcome in. I'll way back to you. Mark, evening. The mathematical sponsor logo gives you that deluded hope. John Couch says long gone. Rob Smith, it really was over a few games ago. Jeremy Lowe, that's only McKenna's second defeat. Gino, did Roy Orbison not say that it's over? Weak foot as well, says Mark Tuckford. It absolutely was his weak foot. That was a hell of a goal. The more you see it, the better it gets, particularly from a centre half. Mike D and Darwin will come back and bag it up on loan, maybe. Les says pre-season starts here. And Matt Stannard, they just want to play us next season as they get to play at a full stadium. Well, it's not pre-season in our prediction league. We have 4 new fixtures. Shrewsbury, que sera, we're off to Shrewsbury. Colchester versus Stevenage, Cambridge versus Morecambe, and Norwich versus Burnley. Callie, I'll ask you about Norwich versus Burnley. They got a 0-0 draw against Brighton. Did Norwich
3-0 Burnley?
3-0 Burnley.
Yeah, we don't back Norwich for anything, man. Fuck that.
I love it. I love a bit of that, Callie. I love that every day.
Norwich could be playing Kings Lynn with their first team and Kings Lynn's reserve team, or Kings Lynn's under 12 team, and I'm still putting a fiver on Kings Lynn to beat Norwich.
Oh, I do like that, Callie. I do. Tom, give me some equally good news about Cambridge versus Morecambe. How badly are Morecambe going to mess Cambridge up after they've messed our season up?
I'm not sure. They won last game as well, Morecambe, so I think they're trying to show some fight. So I'll put a draw for that one. All right.
Draw?
Yeah, drab 1-1, and that will say a lot about the result. Weekend just gone for us.
I'd only have that result, Tom, if it's a 96th minute equaliser for Morecambe, just so they can feel as sick as I felt on Saturday evening. just so they can see Morecambe fans celebrating like they've won the fucking FA Cup final and Champions League, rolled into one. Oh, it was tin. It was tin in a pot. Prediction league table, that is page 1. Mike Woods is starting to move himself out in front here. He got a 0-0 from Norwich versus Brighton. Mike Woods, can you believe that? He literally...
No, he's cheating. There's a cheat code.
He can't have been cheating. He put it in 10 days ago.
Mike, do mine, man.
Exactly. I'm thinking, do mine. Although that wouldn't look good, would it? Martin Lambert, top of his own prediction league. People would start asking.
To be fair, I ain't bothered about the prediction league as long as I beat Matt Phillips.
Well, that's true.
I think there's danger of him overtaking me.
There is danger. There is big
if
danger.
He hasn't already.
I think he has already, and I think you're on page 2, Cal. Yeah, you are. Look, 9 points. He already has. You need to pull your finger out, Callie.
Oh,
he's on 15. You're on 9. Sort yourself out. There is still plenty of points to play for. If you've not played it before, You can get involved for free. There's plenty of points to play for. Mark Seifert, watch the players throw the towel in now, the tops of their suntan towels and towels with the tops of their suntan oils and towels on the sunbed. Callie, you're fairly familiar with the players. Does that sound like a group of players that you know?
I wouldn't say so. No. You know,
that'll do me. That's short and sharp, sweet.
Yeah, people are disappointed. We're still disappointed, and yes, we've got a massive mountain if we're gonna make the playoffs. But it's not mathematically impossible to do, right? And if you had to say one of the teams were going to do it out of all the chasing pack in the playoffs, even non-Ipswich fans are saying, you know, it's Ipswich. They're the team to watch. So, you know, it's a blip. This was McKenna's worst performance. He got it wrong, right? One game. That's it. He's got it wrong. Bad choice in terms. He should have just kept the same team as the week before, to be honest.
Big T, injured, sick, nothing wrong? Do we know?
No comment. That's for the manager to say.
Well, it is, but I'm asking you to give your opinion on it, not fact, an opinion.
So my opinion is if someone is fit enough to play at least 70, 80 minutes, you should play him.
Absolutely. I believe that every day of the week. Yeah. You play him for the first, even if it's for a half, you play him for the half that they can do. You hope to get out in front, and then you look to, you know, that is something in football, though, Tom. Managers often look to bring on a player instead of starting a player that's perhaps got and I'm not saying Big T has, but has got a fitness issue. Which camp are you in? Are you in the we'll bring him on if we need to, or are you on the, like I am, if he can go for 20 minutes, I'll play him for 20 if he's my best player?
It depends what the alternative is, and we saw what that was in the first half, didn't we? So, yeah, unfortunately, TC wasn't at it at all. Sadly, he's not.
He is on the wheel, TC, bless him.
He's not done the business here at all, has he?
And it ain't top.
Sadly. But yeah, if he was available for that amount of time, he should have come on at half time. He should have been brave enough to hook him because we were so weak in midfield. Morsey was trying to do two people's job, and it killed it for us. That was where we lost the game, pretty much.
You know, this resurgence that we've seen. Sorry, Tom, carry on.
All right, mate. No, that's about it, mate.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, you know, this not resurgence because that sounds wrong, but we've seen a different approach in terms of Sam, right? Since he's under McKenna, he's been given a bit more freedom.
Also on the ball.
Yeah, and he's got goals and assists, and he was getting assists beforehand under Cook, so fair enough. But he's put goals in his game. He wasn't getting goals before McKenna. Now he's got 2 goals, right? And the thing with him is when you had Evans starting with him, Evans was sweeping up. Morsey was allowed to go forward a little more. Backinson comes in, and we'll call him Big T, right?
Big T.
Big T, he's earned it, right? So Big T comes in, right? And he's doing the same thing. Maybe not, you know, I'm not seeing it through Matt Phillips' glasses about being the ultimate physical presence, but he is a presence in midfield. He does make some tidy tackles, right? And he does press. He's in your face as a player. He's in the face. So, you know, you wouldn't want to be playing in midfield against him or whatever. And again, he sits back a little and he does the simple things. Tries to play a nice little pass, can play a nice pass here and there as well. But then Morsey's allowed to push on forward. Those roles were switched on Saturday. Carroll doesn't have that drive that Morsey has. And that's not me being biased, right? Anyone will tell you that, right? Right. Carroll doesn't have that drive that Morsey does. Morsey gets at players. You know, you think, oh shit, Morsey's going to lose the ball here or something like that. It's like, no, he managed to keep it here and pass it on or whatever. And we keep it ticking and we're pushing up the pitch and everything. With Carroll, it's like he's a luxury player. I think he's one of those players that would be, you know, if we was in the Championship and we got promoted this year, you'd probably say keep him around, right? But I think the reality is because it's not as technical in terms of, you know, the footballing side and the technical ability in this league, and it's more about physical presence, lackluster, right? And, you know, he seems like a nice guy and everything. I just don't want it to be a case where, and this was the first time I questioned McKenna since he's been here, right? But it was just like, are you just playing your pal because he's your pal? Because for me, and, you know, anyone could tell me if I'm wrong, right? But Tom Carroll, out of our available centre midfield options, is probably at the bottom of the list, if I'm being honest, right? You know, certainly El Miz should be playing ahead of him. You know, if it's not Backinson, put El Miz in there, right? But I didn't see Carroll hopefully, you know, McKenna's seen that and he's seen that, look, Carroll's not good enough and he's not up to it for this, you know. But again, he's a luxury player. He's not going to be cheap anyway. So unfortunately, it's like, see ya.
Okay.
What has he done this season? Like, really and truly, like, can you honestly say, and I'm not trying to bash him, you know, wish him all the best and all the rest of that, right? But
I'm not trying to bash him, but I'm going to bash him.
I'm not trying to bash him. He just made it fucking easy, right?
He just made it. Yeah, he
right?
did. Paint by numbers easy. You're right.
Fucking hell, man! Spread the ball, pass the ball.
It was just like, he did do that a couple of times. Really well.
A couple of times, yeah. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 times. The other 10, 15 times. 10 to 15 times. He's playing hospital passes, losing the ball. Just not, you know, when you talk about a creative player, and that's what Carroll's meant to be, a creative player. You know, technical, passing, and all the rest of it. He can't create anything, man.
No. He doesn't like getting impressed at all. He's very easy to play against. He's a player that needs to play higher up than levels. I agree, to have that space and that time. Tom, he was ironically cheered off when the substitute was made. Normally, from my experience, when that happens, your time at the football club is not very long left. Do you think A, we'll see him again this year, and B, regardless if we see him or not, do you think we'll see him in a town shirt on the 30th of July next year onwards?
I mean, I wouldn't keep him for next season based on what I've seen, but I'm sure we will probably see him again this season. Like you say, like he knows him. He must trust him to some level. I know he's not technically his player, but I'm sure he does trust him at some point. But I do hope El Miz gets a shout as well, because he deserves a go based on those performances. So I hope McKenna wouldn't do that and pick his mate, but we'll see, won't we? He's still learning. We'll find out very soon.
Do you think he learned a lot about Tom Carroll on Saturday, Tom, that maybe he didn't already know? Do you think his performance would have given him that confirmation of maybe he isn't one to be keeping around for next year?
I mean, based on since McKenna's been here, you must think he's not going to be right for us going forward. You've got to think that we can all see that. And if he was getting that reception when he come off, I didn't really hear that from my position, but it's like, yeah. So if that's the case in the writings, you say it's on the wall, isn't it? It doesn't sound pretty good to me, but
your position in I follow Stan.
Your position in the East Midlands, yeah.
your position in Hamburg.
Not the East of Anglia stand. The East Midlands stand.
It's the way you sort of hesitated.
Well, you've got to be careful, because you might just have someone hit the link and come up and call him a knob. So he's got to be careful.
Callie, were you surprised before we move on about him being ironically cheered off?
No, it's not nice. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't ironically cheering off, but I was very happy that the substitute was happening. But again, it just comes back to, like, no disrespect, but what's he done? Like, we're fans in the stadium to support the players, and we're all going to back the players and all the rest of it, right? But then if, you know, yes, players have bad games, players have bad moments, all the rest of it, and you can forgive that. You know, it's why, you know, Fridge got away with a few things, or Bond's been getting away with a few things because they've got the credit in the bank or whatever. There's no credit in the bank for Tom Carroll. No, so every time he comes out, it's like, prove yourself now. So like every opportunity is prove yourself now. And like I said, he's a technical player, but what's frustrating in there is, like, yes, he's meant to be good on the ball, and he is good on the ball. He can keep the ball, you know, close to him, but he struggles at this level. Whereas someone like Sonny Aluko, who, you know, played in the Premier League, he kind of takes to it like, you know, a duck to water. I just think, Carroll needs to be playing higher up in the footballing leagues, really.
Okay. Stephen Parrott, he plays one, the PL and ESC, with less pressing and more space. Safety guy. We can say we need strikers to come in, but can we attract any quality? Many come in the summer, only the promise of promotion. Jeremy Lowe, McKenna said, and I quote, "We need to learn from this," admits McKenna. Emerson Fairweather, I said, when the team news came out that we're starting with 10 men, unfortunately, proved right. Totally unbalanced side. Luke would have been better if Backinson not fit. He also adds, I was surprised he wasn't hooked at half time. Mark Taylor, I saw Matt Penn on Saturday before the game at 11 a.m. Norman, we need to add more dimensions to how we play. Opposition teams know if they stop Burns, that stops most of our attacking threat. Let's get, lots of people, look, Ant still doesn't rate Carroll. Lots of people saying they're not a huge fan of Carroll. Matt Stannard, I like how he brought Penny on. He ran up the pitch, put the ball into the Cambridge player's feet, then he managed to trip a defender and give away a free.
I was right in front of me.
Free kick. I genuinely was reading that out because I thought it was a positive remark on Penny coming on. But the more you read into it, it's like a story. You suddenly, oh Christ, I've gone down the rabbit hole here. But Matt Penny brought on when chasing the game.
Weird.
What did we think about that tactical substitution, gentlemen? For me, I would be amiss if I said I was a fan of it, having criticised Paul Cook for the same thing with Miles Kenlock last season.
That's exactly.
So I'm not a fan of it at all. Callie, what do you think?
I had flashback to the same game last year, right? And it was just like, why are we doing this? I couldn't figure it out, right? So it was just like, okay, Thompson. Now I know there's going to be a bit split on Thompson, and I have to disagree with. I don't know who did the ratings, if it was Stuart or Andy, but I think they're completely wrong. They're chatting shit with some of the ratings that they gave over the weekend. No one, you put 8s in there. No one gets an 8 anyway. Right, and I disagree with Thompson getting a 4. I don't think Thompson was that bad. Mm-hmm. I think, okay, he lost his head a little, and I think that's part of the learning. I don't mind that. I like seeing that fashion, because this is what kind of makes me laugh is you look on, okay, maybe Twitter's not the greatest place to look for information, but you look online or whatever, and you see people saying, I fucking love Norwood getting that yellow card, getting into people, being a shithouse, right? I do. Yeah, right. But there's other people that agree with you as well. And listen, I'm not a Norwood fan, but fair enough. You like seeing that to a point because it's a bit of passion. So when I see Thompson doing it, who's a lone player and a youngster, it's like, go on, son. I like that. Show a bit of fight, show a bit of desire. But then he'll get he's lost his head. He shouldn't be doing that. It's like, well, you don't. I didn't think he lost his head at all. I thought he did fine. And as Matt Stannard said there, like he was. Penny did not come on and do a better job, and did not come on and attack any better.
Lee Anderson thinks he did. He thought it was a good substitution. Put 2 crosses in from the wing.
How many shots on target forward? From those crosses from the wing? How many shots on target did we get? I'll answer that for you. 0. Right? These crosses. Okay, we're a bit easy to please sometimes as a fan base. It's like, we got a fucking crossing, great. We don't do anything with crosses. It's like corners. Oh, we got a corner. I've stopped cheering for corners now.
Yes,
it's just, what's the point? Like, I'm just getting ready for it to go back to Christian Walton and let's just start the attack again, right? So
you're almost and
it's just I like Thompson. I thought he did all right. I wouldn't have taken him off. I would have certainly. Piggott's running up and down the touchline. You want a fucking goal, right? It's got to land for him at some point. Jackson had a bit of run. Why couldn't these 5-6 games be it for Piggott? So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, Tom. So Matt Penny, obviously, I would feel a hypocrite if I didn't, if I sat here and said didn't mind the substitution, having criticised Paul Cook last year when he did the exact same things. That's why I'm, not praising it, because I would feel a little bit of a hypocrite. But you had on the bench Piggott, Backinson, Elmiz. Piggott, Backinson, Elmiz. 3 forward-thinking players, certainly more forward-thinking than a left-back. You had Burgess had played left-back at Wickham. You were chasing a game in a game that you must win. Is it important not to lose by more than one, or is it? Because I just don't understand the thinking behind it. Maybe you can tell me a little bit more.
I wish I could, but I agree with Callie. But yeah, we should have brought an attacker on. I don't get why we're changing up the defence. If we had 5 subs, I can see why that substitution was made. I thought Thompson was quite good first half, and I thought he was doing some good things. But like second half, struggling like hell, in my opinion. I didn't think he was doing things, and there was a consecutive set of patterns there where he was kind of losing his head, and like the winger on the right side was just getting around him too often. And I can see why it happened and why he was taken off, but it wasn't the right call for me. If we need to be trying to score goals, not trying to. Well, like Callie said again, it's like we're not getting assists from the left side. So what good is it trying to keep doing this? We need to sort that out next season. It was never going to work bringing Penny on. So I don't get it. Really,
is an area we need to
third substitution. I don't get it.
No, I do agree. But then in McKenna's defence, he is a new manager still. He is learning on the fly, and he has been absolutely beeping phenomenal for us in this football club. And we are all entitled to make one or two mistakes. And I'd rather he made the mistake Saturday than in a title chasing campaign like next year will be. So you learn now, because next year we're chasing that title and we don't want to be slipping up. But, just because he's been great doesn't mean you don't discuss flaws, criticisms, or whatever. That's part of being a fan of the football club. We've got Stephen, we've got Jeremy, we've got Lee all waiting to come on. I've got a few comments. First of all, we've got John. If Pickett starts Saturday, I'm staying in the pub at Shrewsbury. Matt Stannard, first half, Thompson put at least 2 deep crosses in the box. Payne doesn't cross it so much as passes to opposition defender. Simon, we need another option for Burns. I do think Thompson, Selena, Aluko, Carroll, Penny, Bond, Norwood, Piggott are all not the profiles needed to go forward. Stephen says the pressure ain't helping either. We're all saying that we are must win, must be hard, knowing that dreading making a mistake. Andrew White, think the game was boring the way Cambridge were so slow from start to finish. Right, we've got the will. We'll get some comments, some points off there for the guys coming on. Like I say, we've got Stephen, Jeremy, Lee, and now Neil Perks waiting. But first of all, quick word from one of our partners. Hello, you lovely lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally, one day I went out into that big wide world, a scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer, because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, your bills are still going to be there wanting to be paid, like children needing to be fed. This could have been an answer to my prayer and taken some stress away from me and let me focus on my mental and physical health. Income protection insurance, it's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So give Graham a call on 01636 337 447 or email graham@woodpeckermortgages.co.uk. And I must say, your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage. You know it makes sense, you lovely people. Right, 4 people to come on. First of all, a huge congratulations to our boy Callie, Raheem Harper.
I know. Expected that. So it'll be good.
Back of the net for Harper. First goal this year.
First time he scored.
Congratulations, Raheem. I just saw that and I was like, nice work. Good
And you see, Mr. Carl Edwards was there, of course.
Yeah, if you want to become a town player, if you want to become a dad, just become a town player, it seems.
Yeah.
Because where in the water on Bedford Road is...
That's what's happened. That's what's happened, you know. We can't score on the pitch because they're all scoring off the pitch.
They certainly are. Right. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Tom, give me a number, big fish.
2.
2. Stephen Perry, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you all?
Very well. You're saying in the chat about pressure. Is that the point you wanted to make this evening? Pressure, under pressure.
Well, yeah. If you look at it, and this is the way I've been gauging it over getting my head around it over the last couple of days. Is like we did start off poorly, and no one can deny that because we sacked a manager. So let's not beat around the bush. We were bad, yeah. And like everything else, you know, I'm looking at it now, not from the start of the season. We're all buzzing then. I'm looking at it now on reflection. And at the start, you know, at the start of the season, we're all buoyed. But I start to think to myself, you know, we're looking at this off-field stuff and all the damage we're trying to reverse off-field back for 13 years of underinvestment. But the same goes on-field as well. Could we reverse 13 years of underinvestment in 9 months? We couldn't do it off-field in 9 months. Is it feasible to do it on-field in 9 months? And I think like when you look at the start of the season we had, yeah, it was looking like it was going to be a struggle. Now McKenna's come in, and I think he's worked wonders with these players. He's made some of them better. Yesterday was a bad day, but you could turn around and say Newcastle had a bad day when they played Cambridge. I think Cambridge. I think they played us the way they played Newcastle. They make themselves the victims. Oh, we're going up against a big side, big crowd. Everyone's cheering for them, and it takes the pressure off them. And they go there effectively with they go there with nothing to lose, and everything to gain. It worked at Newcastle and they won 1-0, and it worked yesterday and they won 1-0. So that seems to be what we need to do and focus on more. Is not focus on the opponent, not focus on the occasion, just get the bloody result. Even as fans, we need to focus on that. Let's not worry about who we're playing. Let's not worry about who else is playing. I see people saying, oh, Wigan's got this amount of points off these teams. So what? What can we do about that? Nothing. All we can do is focus on what we do. And we focus too much on everybody else and not enough on us. And I really think we've got to start focusing on us and stop putting pressure on everyone to succeed. Because some of these, like Thompson, I think he's a fabulous player. If we could make a deal for him, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Because the simple fact is, he's 21. I'll tell you what, if I was under the pressure he was under at 21, I'd bottle it. I guarantee you that. You know, and I think we need to realise these are human beings. They're not automatons. And we put so much pressure on them to perform. Yeah. It must, even experienced players, you look at Maguire now, he's getting booed for England. Experienced players can fold under pressure. So I think we've got to take that into account. When you've got 26,000 fans all expecting a 4-0, something goes wrong, all of a sudden them 26,000 fans are going, why is it not happening to the way that I was told yesterday? It shouldn't be going like this. And everybody starts getting on people's cases. Do I think we've got problems? We do. We all know that.
What are our problems for you, Steve?
Well, the forwards aren't right. Yeah. I do think we need to sort the left wing back position as a permanent. Yeah. Loans don't help. Yeah. They're all right for tide us over, but as you can see with Walton, yeah, Walton improved as soon as he become a permanent because he's settled. His future's settled. He knows where he's going to be. Yeah. It's always easier when you know where you're going to be. You know, if you don't know where you're going to be, whether you're going to be at that club in 6 months, you know, you think, well, I'll be back to that other club in 6 months. What difference does it make? I'm not saying they do. I'm saying, well, that mindset can drift in when things start going badly. You know what I mean? You've nothing to fight for. You want to, but you've not got the impetus because you're only a borrowed player. So I would say, like, if we can tie that down, you know, whoever we get, whether it's Conor Grant, if Plymouth don't go up, I'd like Thompson, you know, whatever. If we can get something sorted at left wing back, that's a deal that needs to be done. I'd like Backington to sign. I think that him, Evans and Morsey would be an excellent 3 in midfield in rotation. But the forward line's where we've got to deal with it, you know. Okay. And we've got to bring in some strikers. I heard that Malik Wilkes, I read that this morning, that he's not exactly in favour at Hull. He's an interesting one I'd look at. I like the look of him. He's a big, strong lad who's got pace. I still think Clark Harris would go, especially if Malik Wilkes went to Posh, because that's where he's rumoured to go, to link up with McCann again, which would push Clark Harris out the door virtually, because he wouldn't play there then. You know, so there's lots of ifs and ahs, but I still think we've got a lot of questions, but I'm more confident in the answers because of, you know, we've got a more strategic recruitment going into the summer. We'll know what we want. We'll know the sort of play we want, and they'll be well scouted, and they'll be well looked at. And I think we're going into it with a bit more of a more strategic approach than the scattergun approach that we had this summer.
Has he got a room, Steve? Has he got a room?
He can use the toilet, can he? You know, he can find something. But
sat on the Nuvie laptop on his lap, yeah.
It's just. I think they've got an idea. They've got a plan. And I think they'll stick to that plan. I like the idea where they said they don't mind what country they come from. You know, if they can get a deal for anyone, they'll get them. And they'll look at everyone. I like that. And I think
Ecuadorian Messi on his way to third tier England.
Well, all we can do is sit and wait, can't we? You know, we can all sit here and say, well, let's give the youngsters a go. Well, let's give them a go. But I've not got anything against giving them a go. I don't know whether they'll do any difference, but
great points. Well made. Tom? Pressure. Stephen started with that. I've been saying it in the chat. Let's come to you on the point Stephen made very articulately there. Pressure. Talk to me about that.
What, Thompson specifically, or just any of them?
The collective.
You know, I think they all weren't that good on Saturday, and that was a collective. And they're games that every team has. Every team has those games where they just don't turn up, and for some reason or not, I don't know. They're just not on the same wavelength. And a lot of the time, you eradicate them with time on the training field. And we've only had 3 or 4 months on the training field. That gets eradicated with time. But those games do happen. I've watched football for a long time. I've seen many teams have games like that where they just don't turn up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fulham had one the other day when they drew 1-1 with Barnsley. No one expected that.
Did you say Fulham, who were top of who were basically on the way back to the Premier League? See the difference. All right, Tom?
Yeah, but they rocked up with Barnsley and they drew 1-1. No one expected it.
True. All right, Tom, over to you.
Yeah, Stephen's right in the fact that people have those games, and we will have those games against next season. We are not going to steamroll every single team next season. I think we'll be considerably better, but we're not. We are going to have those troubles again. In terms of pressure, yeah, I think they can handle it as a collective. I think McKenna's pretty chilled, pretty cool, and I think that seeps through. And we've seen that in the communication the players give across. But it was one of those days, and I just think that's what it goes down to. Now, if we bottle it the next 5 games and fall off a cliff, then there's a conversation to be had. I don't think that'll happen. So yeah, but if we go back to Thompson, I just want to reiterate that I thought he had a bad game personally, but yeah, I think he could be a good option. He is young and he's got good stock behind him. He's from Arsenal Academy. He's at Brentford, 2 really good progressive teams. So yeah, I think there could be a player there. I wouldn't be disappointed if he was to sign, but in terms of what he brings in comparison to the right side, which is the unfortunate yardstick that we're going to compare him to, because we get so much from the right side compared to the left, we just need to sort that out a bit. So,
but don't you think that's down? So first of all, Steve, on your thing about pressure, I disagree with that completely. I don't think as a team it was down to pressure. That it was just a bad game. It was McKenna's worst game. Like he got the formation wrong, and the players just weren't up to it for whatever reason. I don't think that was pressure. That might have been a mixture of fatigue or whatever as well, right? But in terms of now the balance on the left and the right, you're right. Our right wing back, Wesley Burns, is someone that we've seen playing right wing, right? So he's predominantly been a winger, and that we know him as a winger. And yeah, he can defend well. I think our option to the left back spot, it depends on what happens with Matt Penny. And I think if we end up doing the wing backs, which I think it's a popular formation, I think it suits our team having 3 at the back and having wing backs. Your 2 wing backs for me next season, if everything went right and we were in control of everything, would be Carl Edwards and Dominic Thompson. And, try and get rid of Matt Penny or whatever from there. Mm-hmm. But I think just like Edwards has been a left winger and like Burns was a right winger and converted to wing back, I think Edwards could do the same thing.
I agree with that entirely, because at the end of the day, if we can't get Thompson over the line, which is, I was talking to a Brentford fan, it looks like they want him out. They've got someone, they've targeted someone on the left wing and they've got a long-term replacement, and they only triggered a 1-year extension. He didn't sign a new contract. They just triggered an extension when he went out on loan, which usually highlights the looking for a deal. And so if we can get a deal there, I'd do it. But I do agree with Callie. I think if a deal can't be done, Edwards will be our first choice with left wing back next season. I guarantee it, because he will run at people, and that's one thing. You can defend. Yeah. Oh yeah, he gets back in defence. You can create an end product. He's got something that no one else on that left hand side has done yet. He's able to run at players. Thompson doesn't do it. Penny doesn't do it very well. Thompson tries, but he sometimes gets himself into corners. Edwards finds his way out of corners, and I think if you start with that, you can work on the crosses into the box or the passes into the middle. If he has to cut inside, so what? Burns does that all the time. So I don't have a problem with him doing that. But if we don't get a deal for Thompson, I can see Edwards being our first choice left wing back.
Perfect, Steve. As always, a real pleasure talking football with you, my man. Look after yourself. And hopefully we'll speak between now and the end of the season again. We've got some comments flying in. We've got Mike Woods with its only amount of time before we sign the next Ronaldo. Simon Harris, KM knows ball into the box is poor, not good, not enough players in the box and no one running past the strikers. He will bring those in. Rob Holmes, we're talking about new signings. We need to make sure we keep one of our own players also, i.e. Burns. Well, David Burns sometimes is in our chat, so hang around long enough. You might be able to ask him yourself.
Well, I've tried to sort that out. I've told David, put a word into Wes. If he stays, he gets fresh samosas every Saturday. We'll even throw some fish pakora in as well. Just make sure he stays. So
good stuff.
David Burns, over to you, mate.
Absolutely, it's a great offer. I'm not going to get any better anywhere else. And that's look at Burns. JD overlaps. Who overlaps with Thompson's? Burgess. Mark Tuxford. I'm sorry, but Edwards is not a wing back, says Mark Tuxford. Thompson is shocking going forward. Neither have an end product exactly the same.
This is what I take issue with. There's nothing personal against Mark, but this is the kind of comment to take issue with, right? It's like we are saying they're not good enough, blah blah blah. They're not good enough. We've seen We've seen him for glimpses in a Paul Cook rigid formation, and I was a Paul Cook fan, right? Now, Carl Edwards can cross a ball, and I can assure you that, because we've seen that happen. We've seen him, the Wickham game, or Wickham away, I thought he's brilliant. We saw him at Lincoln away, right, where we got our first win, actually, of the season, right?
Yes. I don't know.
No,
I've seen him make more tackles than crosses.
No, and I think some of that is down to the formation. I think when he plays, if he's given under McKenna, play the person under McKenna. You can't keep judging them by, oh, they played this under Paul Cook or whatever. Because if that was the case, half our, like players that we've got now, like Wolfie was out. Right now, everyone's raving about Wolfie, right? Wolfie was on the scrap heap, right? He was probably going to Colchester United next season or something, right? That's what people were saying. But now he's come out, he's researched under this manager. So for people to then say, oh no, I don't rate this because I haven't done that. You haven't seen him under McKenna. None of us have, right? We haven't seen it. But what we do know is there's some raw talent there with Carl Edwards, right? He hasn't. Yes, he needed a goal or an assist or whatever, and he hasn't got there as and he has put the ball in the box. Click the link. Let's have a chat, right? But he has put the ball in the box many times. Go look at Bond's goal against Wickham. That doesn't happen without Carl Edwards.
Okay,
All
right. I'll bring in Lee, who is a fan of the substitution, talking of crosses, of Matt Penny. Lee, how you doing, fella?
All right, I'm all right. Nearly over the weekend. Nearly got over.
I think it's going to take longer than a day for me. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
But
yeah, not great.
Matt Penny, substitution. The boys are talking about that earlier in the show. What do you think of that?
Yeah, let's just talk through that. Because we talk about the lineup, or a lot of people have said about the lineup not being right with Carroll starting. Okay, so after 65 minutes, I think he changed that.
Yep.
He changed that. So for me, I agree. Carroll, wasn't at the races, and where we lost, I tell you what, we looked a bit like. We looked a bit like a Cook side that couldn't get behind, in that we were pushing the ball to the left, to the right, but we never had any penetration through the middle. And then only Morsey with those two will run forward with the ball and look to go through that middle third. Carroll was there to spray the ball left and right. You can sort of see why McKenna, you can see why the reasoning behind it. I'm not saying it was the right thing, but he knew that we were going to have a lot of possession. Backinson is 50-50 with his passes. I my heart's in my mouth a little bit when he's passing it sideways. He does pass the ball forward more than Carroll, but I just think that's why he started him. So he changed it. Okay, he did what everybody wanted. He took him off. Should we cheer when one of our players gets substituted? Absolutely not. What a waste of space that is. That's not helping the player at all. So we shouldn't do that. I don't get that. That's silly. That's just like booing someone. That's no different.
Can I interrupt you just slightly there?
Yeah.
Because I disagree with you there. He didn't do what we all wanted. He did take Carroll off, but he didn't do what we all wanted, which was put Backinson on. Like to play Selena and drop Selena back, who was ineffective in a deeper position. Like what the substitution that should have been made was Carroll for Backinson. End off. Right, and that didn't happen.
No, well,
I disagree with that.
So what you're trying to do is you're chasing the game. You're trying to get as many forward and flair players on as you can. So that's what you tried to do. So you could put Backinson on. Yes, we could have done that. But I think we were at the stage of the game where we weren't going to get that. And I think because he brought the second striker on, we had to change the midfield slightly. And I think we were going for it. And to play Selena in that deeper role. Let's not forget, a few weeks ago, we were all raving about Selena playing in the deeper role. So I can see why he did that. Yes, Backinson was the other option. But we then put two strikers on. So when you put two strikers on, you've got to get crosses into the box.
You say it one more time, Fisherman's going to appear.
No, yeah. Well, he put two strikers on, so he did what people wanted. We got two strikers on. So with two strikers on the pitch, you've got to get the ball wide and you've got to get crosses in. So for me, the only substitute you had left to make was then to bring Penny on. Because he is clearly a better full-back or wing-back going forward. He's not the total answer. But when you look at your bench and you've got what's sitting on that bench, who's going to influence the game more? You'd already changed the shape. So we'd already gone to the two up top. So he's thought to himself, and this is what I think he's thought, He's thought that he's a better, slightly better going forward. We're a goal behind. You bring Penny on. To be fair, Penny got, he give the ball away. Yes, so does everyone else. But he got past past the defender twice and put crosses in the box. Now, whether they were playing crosses, so he's more of a threat. So you've got to do that. So that's the tactic behind what he tried. That's the way it was, simple to me.
Reasoned argument. Absolutely take that on board. With Matt Penny, before I ask Tom a question, would you look to retain his services or keep him for next season, or would he be one of a number of players who you're told, the agent can find an alternative arrangement for him?
He's our player. What's he got? 3 years? Did he have a 3-year deal?
I think it was 3 years.
2-year deal.
2 years left. 2 years left.
2 years left. So we've got to think about: do we want to go back to what we had last summer and completely change everybody? Do we want that? I don't think we do. I think we've all realised that last year was, it was a lottery. We brought in as many players as we could. We wiped out all the players. We don't want that this year. Whether or not we keep him as a squad player, then I would say yes, because you talked about Carl Edwards, which is a good point. If Carl Edwards is sitting on the bench on Saturday, then he comes on. He comes on at left wing back, doesn't he? Or he starts. Yeah. But when you look at your bench, you haven't got that. You need all your flair players on the pitch because you're trying to get a goal from something. So you have to make that third change. And I just think, so that's why he made that. So I think I would keep him, but you need, you're not going to get a Wes Burns on the left, but you might have somewhere between the two of them, that someone who's a little bit better going forward, but is a strong defender. Or if you've got Carl Edwards,
Can I ask a question? What is this obsession about? Let's whip a ball in. We need to find crosses in, because we don't. You can find a perfect crossing, but you know what you need there? A player in the fucking box.
Well, we put two. Well, that was the thing. We had two, didn't we?
Bro,
which was my question.
Every cross coming in the second half, bar 2 or 3 of them. Norwood's outside the box. Bond's probably the only one getting in that box around 3 or 4 Cambridge players.
So look, this is the point. So when you change the shape, I don't think they rehearse the shape change on a game day. How many times over the years have we all sat and watched football and we've brought extra players on, and the game's got even more disjointed? We haven't done anything with that. The plan B is to change the players, but I don't think we adapted the style enough, and that was quite clear early on in the season when Bond scored with that Norwood flick on from the goalkeeper. That
was the opening game against.
Yeah. That was the only. Them two had been up front together for like 15 minutes, and that was the only long ball we played, and we scored. So that's why. But you've got to try the crosses, Callie. You've got to get wide. You've got to be able to
I get
down the left and down the middle. There's no point having those two strikers if you're not going to get the ball out to them. Then
talking of one of those strikers, James Norwood, Tom. Lee messaged me late last night because I did say on yesterday's show, big fan of the yellow card he picked up, setting the tone and making it known this is our house and certain things will not be tolerated by an opposition. He has an option. Do you take that option up if you are Mark Ashton, Tom, or is he one of the players you're saying, thanks for your service, James, but bye-bye? What do you make of Norwood in the summer?
I honestly don't know. I wouldn't keep him probably on his current terms. I wouldn't trigger it. So I'd probably say this is an option at a lower cost, because I don't think he'll be worth the salary, in my opinion. But
you would present an option to him from the football club. It wouldn't be a simple bye-bye.
The thing is, I trust our recruitment more than I did last year with Ashton and Cook just going for people that they kind of had an idea of who they wanted. Now we've got a head of recruitment in. We've got McKenna's had time to plan for this, and I think Pert's going to have a lot of connections as well. So I don't know. At the minute, I would say no overall, because I think there are better options that they've probably found out there. And I think he's probably not done enough overall. He came to us with a 3-year deal with this record of scoring loads of goals in the lower leagues. And he scored more for us than most people, if not more than any of this period, but it's not enough. We need a bit more, and we also need the goals spread across the team as well. That's very important. But for someone who's meant to bag goals consistently, No, he doesn't.
Can he convince you? Is there anything he can do for you between now and the Charlton game to convince you? Is it a similar case of every game he's got to score in from now? Is there something else that you want to see from Norwood?
Yeah, score goals and just. You said you liked him. You said you liked him shoving that bloke. I thought it was stupid, to be honest.
Okay.
Don't know why he did it. And then he probably should have got sent off for that block in the middle of it. As soon as that happens,
that's what he doesn't think. It's sorry to interrupt. That's the part that annoys me with him. It's he has these spats of this non-league mentality that come out, and he forgets that it's like he's playing back for Eastbourne or who the fuck he used to play for in the non-leagues, right? Mm-hmm. It's like there was the Milton Keynes Dons away game where he gives the stupidest of free kicks away in the 93rd minute, and Scott Twines over it. And thankfully for Christian Morton's there, otherwise we lose that game because of James Norwood, right? That's what worries me about him. I'm all for bit of physicality, the shit house. I love it, right? Love that shit. But the problem is when a player does the shit housing stuff, you watch a player like Sam Morsey, who's not so much a shit house, but he gets a yellow card. When he gets a yellow card, you're never really this season in danger that he's going to get a second yellow. He knows how to play the game, right? Right. He knows how to do that. Norwood, again, that like TJ just said there, that should have gone.
Hang on, Caddy. When was the last time Norwood got sent off? Just to put it back, just to ask the question, because I think Morsey's probably been sent off more times than Norwood.
Morsey's been sent off once this season, and once was retrospectively because of a tin pot chairman. But
because he's been sent off. So
how did you see it, Lee? How did you see the yellow card?
You're talking about a central midfielder, a ball-winning central midfielder, or a striker that's meant to bag goals.
All right. How did you see it, Lee? The yellow card that he got that Tom didn't like, I loved. How did you see
I think you can be a bit cleverer. I think you can walk over. I think you can run over and support your teammate without having to get a yellow card. That's what I think.
Okay.
You don't raise your hand.
I think that.
I think it was more of a message to the team, though, don't you, Lee? Where it's more of because he said on this platform himself, when he feels the team need that G, he will provide something, and we needed the G. We were dire.
He's not playing for his future at Ipswich. He knows where his next move is. He knows what he's doing in the summer.
Okay.
Right, and so he's not playing for his next move at Ipswich, and it's like even if we're all saying, he's great, all the rest of it. No, I'm not saying nothing. Even if you're saying he's great, all the rest of it, this, that, and the other, he's 30 or 31 years old, right? Am I correct in saying that? He's going to be 31.
Yeah.
I'd give him a year's extension over bloody Ironside every day of the week.
Would you give him a year's extension?
I don't have Ironside.
Hold on. Lee, let me ask you a question then, because TJ made a brilliant point on that.
He's 31, 32 in September.
Okay, do you give a 32-year-old in League One a 10 grand a week contract? Or 8 grand or whatever he was rumoured to be on? We know he was one of our higher earners. Do you give or do you find a striker that's going to score you more than 11 goals a season?
I think it depends. I think on the Norwood question, I think it depends what you're trying to do with the rest of the strikers. And we've said this before, haven't we? If Norwood is your third striker, if all the others are going, where are you going to find the strikers going to pay a lot of money? And are we going to pay the money in League One? If you to answer the question, Norwood would probably get in half. Would he get in at least half the League One teams? Would he? So if he was our third choice striker, and you've got him for a year because of his age, and you wanted it for League One, and he's fit, and he's working well, and he's doing everything else, then. Yes, because what you want to do is to improve the club. You want to bring in players better than what you've already got. And if that means that you keep Norwood because you've got to spend extra money to bring this extra striker in, then you've got to balance the books somewhere. You can't just keep throwing money at League One. You're going to throw money. They're going to throw the money at the Championship.
All right.
They're going to throw the money at the Championship, aren't they? They're not going to throw it at League One.
It's just the fact you're going to pay him. He's one of the higher earners at the club, and he ain't going to accept a pay cut. That's for sure. Right?
Well, no one would.
Not for 1 year, but he might for 2.
Nah, all right, guys. Tim Morgan says, look, if Norwood was at another club, he'd be nowhere near Ashton's dashboard. Lee, I'm going to bring Neil on now, because obviously we're at the hour marks. Time is pushing. Sorry about that. But
okay, guys. Cheers, guys.
Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. Look after yourself. Got Tuxford. But you expect better from a player of his ability. He's not spraying the ball about. What else do you do? Sweet FA. He also said we had 2 crosses on Saturday. They were piss poor. You could have had Peter Crouch in there, but if the ball goes too far over or in row Z, what do you expect? Gina Cassio, well, whatever Messi was trying to send, it didn't work. They beat us. Fair point. Fair point, G. I mean, I can't really argue with that. And Mike D, I don't get why so many fans clamour after a 31-year-old striker who's always played in the lower league.
Mike D.
Evans Itis says Mike D. Neil, thank you very much for. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Hi, Carly, Tom.
How you doing, mate?
All right, mate.
So,
okay, mate.
Lots of talking points tonight, which I wasn't expecting. The wheel has been left in its in the cupboard. That's fine. I don't mind. I've got a whole summer, so that's fine. We will get that wheel out, but we may as well carry on the normal conversation. There, Mike D said it's Evanitis to clamour after a 31-year-old. Lee Anderson says half the teams in the chat in League One would want him. Do you want us to have him on the books next season, Neil? What would you do if you were Mark Ashton?
Well, I personally think 2 strikers are going to be moving on, Gov, anyway. I do think that. I think Pigot's going to go. I think he'll go. Jackson's going to stay. I think that's pretty clear. And then it's Norwood or Bond, isn't it? I think 2 new strikers will be coming in. I think they will.
So if you think 2's coming in, 2 coming in with 2, possibly 3 leaving, Joe Pigott, Matt Phillips has said he would pay him off on a show. Would you go as far as to that, or would it be a simple case of if Joe can find another club, we'll allow him to move, but you wouldn't pay the contract up?
Could you find him a season-long loan somewhere, possibly as well? You know,
AFC Wimbledon, maybe. Tom, do you think I think they'd probably happily take him back on a season long, don't you?
Yeah, it's one we can leave for the whole summer, I think, and just see what interest there is. And if we need to loan him out late, same applies. I think it's the same with Macaulay as well. Like, we don't have to rush to get him, I think, straight away based on his second half form. We could probably wait it out and see what his situation is, how we're doing striker-wise, and just, let that run. But, yeah, I think Jackson will be signed up quickly. Norwood might be gone. And so we'll be looking elsewhere, I think.
Yeah, I'm not in the interest of paying players up, though. Are you, Neil? I mean, we did that.
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
No, it always reminds me that, Neil. I don't know about you, of the early days under Marcus Evans.
Is Pigott's time over at the club, really? Do you not think maybe a pre-season and coached under McKenna, go again, put all the shit that he's had from last season, both on the pitch and in his personal life, put that to a side, start afresh? Because he's a contracted player. He has got 2 years, so paying him up, and he's going to be on good money, right? So paying him up's not going to be cheap.
No.
And I can imagine our valuation of him for the clubs that will want to come for him, they ain't going to be able to afford it. So then your only option is you're going to loan out a player, and we're probably going to cover their wages. It may just be, because we're not so bound by the financial regulations or whatever. It's slightly different in League One, they were saying, because you can just have your cash injection or whatever.
That's correct. Salary Cap Management Protocol, SCMP.
That's the one. So it's just, I just don't know, because I think one thing I'll be very, very shocked at is if James Norwood is still at the club in for the beginning of the season. Okay. Right? Sorry, not for the beginning of the season, by the end of the first transfer window. Because by the end of August, I think he'll be gone. Jackson, he deserves it. But then the Bond thing as well, it's like, I'm a Bond fan, but let's take our academy blue tinted glasses off here for a second. Would you go out and buy Bond if he wasn't from Ipswich? No. Like, we've had him on the loan. He's had a good start to the loan period, right? He's faded off. Would you now go sign him? Would you now spend $500,000 or 750, which is a rumor to be the transfer fee to go get him in? Or would you not maybe go to the dashboard and have a look at alternatives?
Well, I don't mind Norwood, but if you gave me a choice at Norwood and Bond, and I was pushed to say I would sooner keep Bond, I think, than Norwood, personally.
I agree with that. I agree. What about what Kelly said there about Joe Pigott? Great comment. Maybe after a summer, fresh start with McKenna. Do you think actually returning next year as the third striker would lower expectation? Everybody thought we were getting a player that was going to score 20 plus this year, great year last year. Do you think lower expectation, a fresh start? There's still a way back for Joe at the football club.
He's not going to be first choice next season, is he? There's no way. No. It's just a really tricky one, that, isn't it? I don't know. He's just something's just not right, is it? Somewhere, and even when he does play, he's just, I don't know. He probably just needs a couple of goes, but he just looks totally shot to pieces, doesn't he? Sometimes confidence or whatever it is, he just needs a couple of goes, and maybe we'll see the true Joe Pigott. Maybe, yeah.
That can be repaired though, Tom, can't it? Confidence.
Yeah, it's why I would wait for him to just see how his pre-season goes. Give him a bit of time. Like, let all the players have a break, because they've all come together, 19 of them. They've all had 2 managers in the space of a season, high expectations. Bin the season off, because I think it will be binned off because we're not going up. And then have a break, get back in pre-season. McKenna and Pert have got a fresh plan. Dashboard's on the go. Its lights are on. Great. And then all these players coming back. We've got Harper coming back. We've got Edwards, might be reinvented. And then we've got Pigott coming back fresh. And
problem sorted.
Yeah, big Thomas Holy coming back as well, out of contract, but he'll sign on, I'm sure.
No, don't even float the idea.
We need more. We need more trees around Suffolk and Portman Road. So yeah, get the fucking tree.
I have to say earlier on. My washing machine's going mentally. I'll just go in the other room.
Shocking, Neil. Come on.
But no, I'd have to say. I think that was a great shout, what Stephen said about Conor Grant. I think that'll be a fantastic signing for us. If Plymouth don't go up, he's a class little player, that guy. And I'd like to see Edwards, maybe Edwards and Conor Grant on the left. I think that would be great. I've only seen Edwards at Plymouth, very raw, but he's got talent, Edwards. There's no doubt about it. Bags of talent, bags of pace, bags of skill. Just needs edges smoothed over. But he's a player, all right. Absolutely, he is.
There's one thing to just consider when we're talking about all these names and recruitment and all the rest of it, is a couple of things, right? So first of all, the whole Norwood thing, we can put this to bed now. Norwood was a recruitment from Marcus Evans and the PE teacher Leo Neal. That tells you all you need to know about the recruitment, right? He had one, and I'm not here to bash him, right? But he makes it easy. But like, he one season, I think he scored 30 plus goals. The rest has been average, right? At lower levels. He scored, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I think his highest amount of goals for us in the season is 11 goals, right? In all competitions. I could be wrong, but I believe it's 11, right? So he's not in the conversation for in Ipswich Town strikers that if we're talking about going top 2. We're talking about top 2 here. We're not talking about top half or playoffs. Right, we're talking top 2. He's not in the top 2s, right? Secondly, the thing around stats is, these players have scored loads of goals, or that player's got loads of assists, or this, that, and the other. We signed the best striker in league, or one of the best strikers in league from League One last year. It didn't work, right? It hasn't worked so far. I'm hoping that it does, and I hope that we can get something out of him, because there has been moments there, especially when he links up with Caden Jackson. I think he's played his best football, and that's the kind of I think he needs a bit of pace around him or whatever. And I'm confident that if we do keep him and we start the season with Pigott and Jackson and another, that's not a bad shout. But then we just need to be realistic on things. I think it's just, don't worry too much about, we need to find the striker that scored 20 goals. We may find this. Look at Wes Burns. Wes Burns, this is best season, like statistically wise, for Ipswich Town. Be honest now.
I've seen David Burns in the chat, Callie, so be careful.
David's all right. Right, David, look, just bear with me on this point, right? Be honest here. How many of you were actually that excited and like, oh my God, when Wes Burns come through the door? Apart from when we played Fleetwood on the last game of the season, that's all I remembered, right? Is that Wes Burns, he likes to dribble, he can take players on, and he can finish. He looked a tidy player. But it wasn't for me like, this guy is going to be, one of our star players. I didn't have that excitement. We didn't know about it. But guess what? He's become one of our star players. He's up there with your Sam Morseys, your JDs as well for player of the season, right? I think, between them three, it's got to be, right? But there'll be players out there that are scoring 7-8 goals, and you're thinking, maybe not. But then they'll come here and get 20, 25 goals. Like it's just don't be so focused on the numbers and stuff because the numbers can change in the thing. And David, like I said, tell Wes with the samosas and pakoras are sorted. Just make sure he stays.
Absolutely. Neil, a pleasure as always talking football with you, my man.
Can you hear me?
I can. But
Sorry,
can
I?
TV
Yeah,
in the background as well.
Oh, it's okay. I'm back in the other room now. Can I just say quickly? I think Cruncher. I think he sort of slightly misunderstood what I was saying the other day. I mean, I've supported Town for a long time, and it's good to dream sometimes. What I was trying to say was, I do believe we'll go up as champions next year. I know it's quite a big call. The season's not kicked off. I think we will. And what I was saying was, I'd like to think in our second full season in the Championship, we can go up to the Premier League. Why not? I know you got to keep your feet on. I know you got to keep your feet on the ground, but I think we could be there in 4 years. Why not think positive about it? I think he was saying, "Oh, let's not get carried away and all of this," but I just think he didn't understand.
Neil, part of that is Crunch is a miserable bastard sometimes, so just don't take
too
much on it, right?
Part of being a football fan is getting carried away. That's a part of it.
Wolves went up, right? Record points in League One, which we're going to break next season, right? We're going to break that record, right? Wolves went up.
There's someone on my wavelength. Thanks, Callie.
I'm on the same wavelength. Because listen, in Wolves' second season in the Championship, so their first season they finished 7th. We beat them to 6th place. Thanks to Darren Bent for Derby County at Molyneux on the last game of the season. That helped us. And then their second season after that, they went up as champions. Right? So, obviously, all the Nuno stuff and all the rest of it is coming to place. But 2 seasons in the Championship. So, from 3 years, they went League One, Championship, Championship, Premier League.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I meant the other day.
I'm with you there, Neil.
Yeah, exactly. One more thing, Gov. Just 2 names I'd like to chuck in. I know everyone just chucks in names. I was talking about the centre of the park. Just 2 names. One could be a possible. One's probably a far out shout alongside Morsey. Correct me if I'm wrong. Brannigan from Oxford, I think, would be good. The other player plays in Scotland. They say there's quite a gap, but he's got goes in him and he's good. We'd probably go nowhere near him. Would be Turnbull for Celtic. I think that would be a great shout as well alongside Morsey. I really do.
Brannigan and Turnbull added to the pot. We love it. Neil, we appreciate you as always. Thank you for
all the best, guys.
Take care. Craig at Portsmouth, Wolves spent 52 million to get there, though.
Let's not all spent this. How much money have we spent, right? When we win the Championship, how much money do you think we're going to spend in the Championship?
Hopefully hundreds
over
of
2
million.
seasons. We will spend at least that in 2 seasons in the Championship. Believe it.
Okay. Les Bailey. The art of scouting is to find the hidden gems, the guys who aren't perhaps playing in their best position and who can come in and make a difference.
And don't you think, like, as an example, I said it, Wes Burns, that's been a hidden gem. Right, the man was playing at Fleetwood last year, and now he's show me a better right wing back in the league. You can't show me a better right wing back in the league, right? And this is someone that, like I said, we weren't that excited about him joining.
Yeah, he wasn't in the top 50 EFL players.
But that's because it's all bullshit, isn't it? And it's just
Colin Plum.
There's loads of salty people out there. It's all with the fans, isn't it? Fans voting for other fans. Half of the fan base hates us because of Checkbook FC and all the rest of it, right?
Yeah, Colin Plum will be the new Wolves, Callie. Trust me. Jeremy, welcome in. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks for joining us this evening after a flat weekend. Talking about the strikers here, we'll finish up that and we'll finish the show with that conversation. Joe Pigott, James Norwood, Macaulay Bond, Caden Jackson. Is it a simple case we don't have enough different type of striker at the football club? Look at Joe Ironside on Saturday. Plays the hold-up role incredibly well, can mix it, buy a free kick, can also be physical. Other than James Norwood's fiery temperament, which we saw obviously with the yellow card, have we got that ourselves? Are Joe Pigott and Macaulay Bond really that different of a player, except Macaulay Bond's got goals? Caden Jackson's got pace. Do you think we will bring a couple of players in that add something different to what we've got? How do you see it sort of playing out next year?
I would like to see us bring in that player from at Peterborough,
Johnson Clark Harris.
Harris.
Why? What about him? It gets you
I know
Sorry,
he hasn't
Jeremy.
really struck. I know he hasn't really struck it off in the Championship, but he was banging in goals for Peterborough, left, right, and centre in League One. So
He was.
He must.
But
So he must.
what? Sorry, Jeremy. What about Peterborough or Ipswich? Why would he want to come? I said this to Colin or somebody on Saturday. Johnson Clark Harris. What would make Ipswich Town your prefer other than the obvious? What about Ipswich Town? We've not made the playoffs once in England's third tier. Peterborough are a yo-yo club. What about it gets you, Jeremy?
Well,
other than being a Town fan, if you're Johnson Clark Harris,
I would say that Ipswich are on the up. Okay, we haven't hit the heights that we thought we would do at present, but we are going places. And a friend of mine, who I had a bet with this season, which I'll probably lose to him, that Ipswich, I said we'd get the Championship this season, and then I said, if not the playoffs, but we could still make the playoffs. So I haven't paid out on my bet yet. So
is it season still on for you then, Jeremy, or is it the simple fact you don't want to put your hand in your pocket?
Well, I a few weeks ago when we had that bad result, I was all for paying him and said, well, until it's mathematically over, I'm not taking it off you.
Okay.
So,
talking of money and hand in pockets, dreaming, says this man.
I've only come on because I want to see if Callie's wearing his Yeezys.
No, wait.
Oh Christ! Wait until you see these.
Anyway,
shoes,
what's all this chat I hear about Ipswich Town in the Premier League, Martin?
What do you mean?
Why not?
Yeezy just for you, mate. Just for you. We got the
There you go.
Yeezy
Look at them top. What do you think of them, TJ?
In your size, mate. In your size, no problem.
Not
Every
a pair
size
of
we've got.
avocados.
Oh mate, you
Oh,
should see
you leave
him
him
on.
alone. None of you got fashion sense, man. You're all shit, man.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Callie's going to bring me a pair down. So,
Yours are going to be the easiest to find.
Another player I'd
what?
like to see
14s?
at Town is Scott Twine.
Scott Twine, you're not going to get him now, are you, Crunch? That boat has
Dear
sailed.
me. I keep hearing people saying Scott Twine's going to come to town.
What's
are
his
people
stats
on
been
about?
like this season anyway? Scott Twine.
Championship
It would be
bound.
nice though, wouldn't it, Crunch?
It would be nice. Crunch said last year it would have been nice.
Should have got him last year, Jeremy. He was top of my shopping list, and we got Scott Fraser instead. Look at that went.
So you don't see us spending 52 million then, Crunch?
Well, we might do, but when we haven't made the playoffs, Martin, for 3 years on the trot, and we're talking about getting in the Premier League, I think we all need to just call the Jets. Let's get out of this league first next season.
But that's what we're talking about. We're not saying we're going to be in the Premier League next season. I mean, I'm saying it's not mathematically possible. But
I thought we
worst
were
case
finishing
scenario.
fourth, Callie, you told me.
Did I say what year? Did I say what year? Now run the video back. Yeah, I never said the year.
Run the video.
Have you got your Player of the Year ticket yet?
Yes, mate. I'll see you tonight, Jeremy. I was watching the video from Blue Action of the sign, and I could see you waving your scarf, mate.
Good man.
You're in it.
Crunch, I'm getting an echo on the line, so I'm going to let you go. Whatever you're doing in the kitchen, enjoy yourself. Thanks for popping on.
Bourbons. Get the Bourbons in.
They had a king.
Good
They had a
biscuit.
king of biscuits, my man.
My
Enjoy.
favourite Bourbons.
David Burns, thanks, Callie. What can I tell you? He competes on a house in the area in the next week. Samosas on order.
There we go. You just give, mate, David, it's there. And I saw a comment further up from Matt Stannard about samosas for Charlton game end of the season. I will bring some down.
Ooh.
And I'll bring some special brownies as well for those that want those.
I'm fine. Tim Morgan, Derby go down. We sign Lawrence. Him on the left, Burns on the right. We win the league. Right, Jeremy, we're going to end the show there. Thank you for coming on. In one word, is it season on or season off?
Season on still.
Love it.
Good
Jeremy,
man.
look after yourself. We appreciate you as always. It's been an interesting show tonight, guys. I didn't think we'd get an hour and 20, let alone to the hour mark, really. But we've done it. The content keeps being produced. It's good talking points. As the good doctor said here, which I think you two boys will like. This is the effect we have on people. He said, where was his comment? Oh, I've lost it. It's all about the 52 million now in the chat. I can't get away from it. Even all great chat, still working-ish, but enjoying this. Not decided myself, but I can see a toss-up between Norwood and Bond, as Neil just said, unless other stars come in. Look at that. Look, we're distracting people from their work, Tom. That's what we do.
I mean, but is that a good thing if he's a doctor? Like, there's not someone dying on an operating
Hi,
table.
everybody.
Yeah,
Hi,
like, I've got
Nick.
Dr. Nick vibes there. So, like...
Hang on. Before we go.
Can't hear him.
What are you doing?
Hello, mate. I've got absolutely barely any sound, so I'm here with my lovely wife, who looks very Disneyfied. I can't hear a single word you're saying because the sound is awful. Live from the Magic Kingdom. Been the whole front line. Piggott gone. Jackson gone. Norwood gone. Bond gone. Clear slate. Bomb squad up front. Live. I thought I'd make you all jealous. I'll get some palm trees in behind me. Come on, the Blues from 4,000 miles away.
Love it. Love you. Have a great holiday. Have a great holiday. Look at that. Look, live from the Animal Kingdom at Disneyland.
We had snow here last week. I don't want to see Disneyland. I don't want to see no people fucking enjoying sun. It was snowing last week. Fuck off.
I was having an all right Monday up until that point.
Yeah.
So was I.
Pissed me off a little.
So was I.
I'm not
I do
going to drink
love the
alcohol.
milk tray, man. £2 from Neil Perks. There you go. We started a Disneyland fun there, boys. £2 in the jar. We'll get there by the year 2063.
Live from Disneyland. Love it.
Perfect. Right, we're done. We're dusted. Here's Big Fish Tom James. Here's the king. That was the milk tray man. We've had Cruncher, Jeremy, Neil, Lee, Stephen, Beat Parry. It's been a fantastic show. And we're back live Wednesday at 8:30. I can't say who's joining me live because I can't actually remember. But it's going to be another jam-packed. Oh, Tux is on. I know that. I'll ask him about Carl Edwards. That is for sure. So if you're free,
I'll be tuning in.
Maybe it's your turn to click the link and see what you see.
Tux knows I love him, mate. It's all love. He knows that.
You can support us on Ko-Fi, but until Wednesday, with love, with care. See you all very, very soon.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back.